I can see me and everything. You're gonna start at verse 1. King of Jerusalem. So we already know right here, starting off with King Shalomo. These are the words King Shalomo. We know these most historians or whatever say that the words of Ecclesiastes come from a later part of his life. So this is about time the point where he's starting like to go crazy. He's starting to get away from the words of the Most High, and he's kind of thinking about life. Like you reflecting on life as you get older. The older you get, you kind of move more reflective and try to figure out what's going on. Let's read. Let's continue. In verse 2, it says, "Vanities of vanities, saith Kohelet. Vanities of vanities, all is vanity." Um, it uses the word havel for vanity, but really the word means vapor or like smoke. So he's really saying things are random. Things are not always how you think they're going to be. They're more random than we really say it. So we kind of like think things in life are going to go straight and always narrow, but the Most High has a different plan for us. The Most High has a different plan for how life is going to go. So we can't really always expect it to go one way. Like something I always say is like when people start to think that life is going bad, I like to say that that's kind of selfish. Like to think like the world revolves around you, like everything's supposed to go your way. You feel me? Like the Most High tells us that He's the God of all things and everything, and we know that He's all powerful, all knowing. So we gotta trust his path, his journey that He sets up for us. So all things are random. All things are like smoke. Like, like smoke goes and it twists and turns and it goes and it really can't be contained. So like the ways of the world is like can't be contained. The ways of life is different. Is we don't know where it's gonna go. One day it could be good, one day it could be bad. One day you can have your highs, one day you can have your lows, and that's really just how life is. So like instead of using the word vanity, I like how we get a more direct translation of vapor or smoke for the word havel, right? In verse 3 it says, "What profit have a man of his labor which he hath taken under the sun?" Now he's asking the question like, what advantage, what things do you get from working? Like in your lifetime, you're gonna work under the sun. You're gonna work. You're gonna put in your 9 to 5, your hours in work. You're gonna clock in and clock out, and you ask yourself all the time, like all the time, you're gonna ask yourself like, what is the purpose of this? Why do I go to work every day? Why do I put in this work? What is the purpose? And that's the same thing Solomon is asking. He's asking like, a man has this, a man puts in labor, but what does he really gain? Like some things we do in life, we just have to do. Like we have to go to work, we have to, but we also got to make sure that we always trying to find a purpose, trying to find a meaning to something. You can't just do stuff just to do something. Perfect example. If you ever watch sports, there's some good players that just talented and gifted. They're doing it for the money or whatever. They're working hard. You like, okay, that man's very talented. And then when they get to bigger leagues, they get to the professionals. You like, man, they're not playing the same way they played in college or whatever. They're not playing the same way. It's like they're just doing it for the money. They're just trying to be there. The greatest players, they find a purpose. They try to they sports is like important to them. It's the same way with our life. In this life, we have to find a purpose. If we're gonna go to work every day, make sure, okay, I'm working this job so I can provide for my family. And in turn, if I provide it for my family, I could teach my children. I can teach my brother. I can set aside some amount of kesef for the Knesset. I can learn the skill that I could give towards the Knesset. I can learn this. I can learn that. I'm using this so I can further myself in my career way or whatever. That's how we got to look at things. We got to always look at things. What can we gain from it? What can be the purpose? What can come from this? What can come from what we do? All right. One generation passeth away, and another cometh, but the earth abideth forever. That's so true. We all know that people gonna die in our lives, and people gonna be born. But the earth is gonna be here. The earth is gonna be here. No matter they say that we only got a certain amount of time before global warming or whatever. But at the end of the day, we can only go off what the Most High gives us. So if the Most High gives us the earth, life or whatever, and He gives us death, we gotta take that and we gotta take it and we gotta use that. Every generation is supposed to get better, smarter, learn from the previous generation. He talks about how they just passing away, but think about it like every time somebody passes away, you learn from that. You learn from that. You gain better understanding. You continue to use that. A life is not going to go away. You know the energy of the life. The energy cannot be created or destroyed. So the energy of life doesn't go away. You got to carry some. You got to carry the piece of that energy. So if your father passed away, your grandfather passed away, your friend passed away, you got to carry some of that aspect, some of their honor, some of their legacy with you. You take that part of the energy that they gave you, some of the part of their life that they gave you when they passed away, and you take that and you better yourself. And you build upon that. And you keep getting better. The sun also rises, and the sun goeth down. Hasten to his place where he rose. The wind goes towards the south and turneth to the north. It wither about continually and returneth again according to the circuits. So so our ways, we have our journeys, we have our jobs. If I'm a construction worker, okay, I go to my construction site and I work every single day and I go. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna come back to my family. I'm gonna come back to my wife. I'm gonna come back to my brother. I'm gonna come back to my mother, and I'm gonna be there for them. And that's just the same way the sun. The sun runs in a circuit. It goes up, comes back down, it goes around. One day it's gonna be light, and then it's gonna be dark. It's the same thing. But what do we come back to as a Hebrew Israelite, as a person that we call ourselves the children of the Most High? We got to make sure that we come back to the words of the Most High at the end of the day, no matter what we do. So if we go out, we having a fun. It's okay to have fun and have a good time, but make sure you always coming towards the Most High. You always making sure you're doing it in the righteous manner. You know, my emo always used to tell me when she be like, every time I go out or go somewhere, I ask to go, so she be like, have fun, but not too much fun. You know, too much fun where you forget who you are or what you are and what you're being. So you got to remember that. Even though I'm going to do a job, I'm going to work or whatever. You got to remember who you are and what you come back to. The sun, every single day, the sun comes back to uh to the horizon. The sun comes back up. The wind goes to the south and goes back to the north. Every single day, it's a cycle. We have to have our own cycles that we have to set ourselves. Every morning, if we got to wake up, let's say our Shema, let's say our prayers. Let's make sure we give the Most High praise, and let's make it a cycle. Just like just like nature has a cycle, just like the universe has a cycle, just like just like everything. Like earlier, we are talking about how random and how unpredictable life is, but we have to find ways to make it to normalize it, kind of make it into order. That's all the scriptures is. That's all the Torah is. It's just a book of order. It's teaching us order. So we got to make sure we put that order into our lives. You can tell by who was really reading their scriptures. If you go to a brother's house and you see everything in chaos, you see him arguing with his wife, you see nothing's clean, nothing's going right. You're gonna question yourself, like, is he really reaching towards the Most High? The Most High doesn't dwell in filth. The Most High doesn't dwell in our iniquities. We know that if we're doing right, then things are going to start to run more smoothly in our lives. That's the first step. If we want to get close to the Most High, we got to make sure our lives are ran in a way that's going accordingly to the Torah. But also, we got to make sure we have an order, we have a balance in life. You know, like we got to set ourselves up. Like I know for myself, I can only speak for myself. I don't know everybody who's viewing or everybody in this world, but I know I need to pray more. I need to get back. I know I pray in the morning and at night, but I need to add a noon prayer or whatever. I need to add more meditation. I need to add more scripture study to myself. And I can't just say, okay, I'm gonna do it this day or that day. I gotta set dates to it. Just like when you got a job or you got a hobby or whatever. You play the games every night. You know, okay, I work Monday through Thursday, and I know Shabbat night or Saturday night, Sunday, I'm gonna play on the game. That should be the same thing when you set your scriptures and your reading or whatever. You say, okay, I work from 9 to 6 or whatever time you work. Okay, I'm gonna get home, be showering, cleaned up by 7:30. I could pray about 7:30, do my prayers, and then I'm gonna do my scriptures reading with my family at 8 o'clock. You gotta set yourself an order. Once you start setting yourself order, it's gonna things following the Most High's scriptures, His Torah, His words are going to be way more easier because you have order and things are running smoothly. All right, let's continue. All the rivers running towards the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from whence the rivers come, there they return again. All things are full of labor. Man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. So it's just like it's things that we intake in our lives. There's people that have been here for hundreds of years, who have been here over 100 years, who've been here 70 years, who've been here 20 years. I know I only been here 21 years, but I know I've seen things, and I see, and I continue to see things, and it's continue to be set in my system. I continue to hear things, so I'm hearing things, I'm intaking it, but it's continue to come into me, and then after a while of seeing things, when you just turn 90, you don't just stop. Just your eyes just don't stop intaking stuff. You don't stop just seeing stuff. Some people might go blind or whatever, but you can always see. You can always use that and grasp that and learn from it. Just like how the river doesn't get overflowed. Just the same thing with your mind. You got to continue to learn. To learn. If you stop learning, you're stagnant. And then you know what happens with stagnant? Destruction of a nation. You look at history of any nation, they destroy because they stay stagnant. Innovation and continue to develop and learn. That's the things that's gonna improve your nation. If you got a vision that you want to bring towards the community, you can tell people about it. You can tell, okay, brother, I got this vision that I really want to sell flowers or whatever you do. Let's say the brother say you want to sell flowers. You could say that vision, right? And the brother said, I don't know about that, brother. I don't know about selling flowers or whatever. I don't know if that's like really the duty. I don't know if you can make money off it or whatever. I don't know if it's gonna be really it's gonna be really beneficial to the community. If you see that as if you see that as your vision, you can't let somebody else deter you from your vision. So you gotta put that in where you want place. Let's say if a sister said, "Oh, our children they're not learning Hebrew like they should." Well, if you see the problem in your community, it's your job to put your foot forward and improve that in the community. So if you see a problem, you see, oh, we don't have order. Then okay, brother, you help add to order. Okay, you help do this and do that. If you see there's a problem in the community, it's your job to situate it. Now you may not have all the funding or the backing behind it, but if you really see it's a problem, if it's really a problem, you're gonna fix it. Every time someone always tells me, I know my friends kind of hate me for it, but they always tell me a problem in life. And I ask them, okay, what are you going to do about it? And they're like, I don't know. I just told you I'm going through something. This is that. I'm studying. I'm not passing. But at the end of the day, if you're not finding solutions, what's the point of you complaining? You're just complaining to complain, and that's going to really destroy our community. If you're just complaining to complain, then there's no benefit from it. We talked about that earlier too. A man works every day. What does he gain from it? What is his benefit? If you complain and then you're not finding those solutions, then you might be the problem. You might be the problem there. Let's continue. It is that which shall be, and that which is done shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. That's powerful. I mean, I know we hear this. I know we hear this a lot. That there's nothing new under the sun. We hear that saying. People just throw it around all the time. Oh, I remember I used to do that back in the day. It was just a little different. I used to have me a little car back in the day or whatever. But we got to remember that we learn from the past. It might not necessarily be something completely new, but we use that innovation. We use that knowledge that we gain from it, and we get better on it. If you look at the pictures of the first planes or whatever, the Wright brothers, if you look at them, people probably thought they was crazy. Like, yeah, right, you gonna fly a plane? Come on, brother. Come on now. So you want to just kill yourself. That's basically what you're saying. You just want to kill yourself. Come on, flying a plane or whatever. It's just like that. It's like people are gonna be down upon you. but you got to use your past experience. Now, the first couple planes didn't turn out right. They didn't. They crashed or whatever. People may have got harmed, but after a while, you get better. You say, okay, 1990. I got me a 1999 Honda Civic. In 2020, the Honda Civic should not be the same as a 1999 Honda Civic. They're gonna be like, okay, let's add sensors in the back of the vehicle. Let's add cameras everywhere so we can see more angles. They're gonna keep on improving. It may be the same thing. It may be the same concept, the same item, but you get better at it. The teaching should be getting better. Services shouldn't be the same. Everything shouldn't be the same. Just like we're in 2020, everyone's social distancing and keeping themselves safe and whatever and whatever and whatnot. And we got Zoom and we got live and webcam. 20 years ago, we wasn't doing no live teachings or whatever, but this allows us to expand. It might not be something new. The teaching, the service or whatnot might not be new, but we're improving. We're getting better. We're adding to it. And we're going to add to that to get ourselves in a better situation. That's what community is all about. It's about you helping one brother and that helping another brother, and you add to it. Let's say if I got a house, right? And we all in the community. Let's just say all in the community. Hopefully this can happen one day. But and I got a leak in my bathroom, right? And I'm no plumber, so I'm like, okay. Let me go to brother Abraham. I know he goes crazy with the plumbing and whatnot. He knows how to do this and do that. I say, brother Abraham, my sink it's all right, but it's got a problem with it. It's only spurting out a little bit of water at a time. Can you help me? He said, yeah, I can help you. I can help you. So you help him with that. So he helps you with that, right? You may compensate him, and then he might have a problem. He might just need somebody to talk to or whatever. And then you help that brother. It's the same thing. It's like we're not creating anything new, but we're building upon it and we're building each other. We build a community and we continue to grow from that. All right. Where if we said, see, this is new, it had been already of old time, which is done before. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are there to come. With those things shall come after. Now this is important that we just listen to words like how we can't really foster and pester ourselves with the past. Like, okay, you made a mistake. You might have made a mistake or you might have wanted to do something differently. It's going to bother you. That's going to trigger down in your brain and make you not be able to move. This two most illnesses in the black community is depression and anxiety. And these things are based off of how your brain's really set up. It's called about chemical imbalance. Yes, it's a chemical imbalance, but it's all about thinking. Thinking comes first. If you ever deal with somebody about depression, they always thinking about what happened in the past. Like, okay, this traumatic event happened to me, or this happened, or that happened. And like, yeah, you can't think about that. You just gotta move on. But the same thing you gotta take towards yourself. You can't beat yourself up that you did something wrong. Take the punishment. If you ever look at David, David did a lot wrong. Now, no disrespect to our forefather, Melech Dawid, he did a lot wrong. But you see what he did? He repented and he moved forward. He didn't let that drain him down. He didn't let that take him down. And you can see what he did when he had his child. And I forgot the child's name. My fault for that. But the child, the child died, and then he was just sluggish. He wasn't really moving. He was kind of depressed. It was like a depressed state of David. He was, and then the prophet had to come to him and told him like, get your. They had to come to him like, David, you the king. You gotta get yourself together. You can't be going around like this. So that's kind of how it is. You got to keep moving forward. Like the things in the past can't change. There's nothing you can do to change. There's no time machine coming to save you. There's nothing popping out of the blue. There's nobody going to say you get a redo. You just flip this coin, you get the redo. You snap your fingers. There's nobody coming back to do that for you. So you got to move forward and learn from these things. Sure, it's going to be in the back of your mind, but you got to make sure that you use it for motivation. You use it to guide you. King over Israel and Jerusalem. And I gave my heart to seek and search out my wisdom concerning all things that are done under the heaven. This sword trail hath Elohim given the sons of men to exercise with. I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of the spirit. Now, this is for people who kind of like wonder, who always wonder, and this is more like when I was talking about depression. This is more about on the anxiety side. Like people with anxiety, they're always shaking, they're always nervous because they don't know what's going to happen in the future. They don't know everything that's going on. They always say this is a saying that people fear what they don't understand. It's like you don't really know what's going on. You don't know what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, you got to have trust in the Most High and trust in yourself. What Moses say to what the Most High say to Moses? He told him basically you have the ability to do it when it was at the Red Sea. So it's the same thing with yourself. You have to have faith in yourself. Trust that okay, I'm a child of the Most High, and I'm gonna use what the Most High gave me. I'm gonna use my power, my strength, my knowledge that the Most High gave me, and I'm gonna use that to to do things right, do things in a way that's accordingly. It's the same thing. That's how the mindset you gotta have. You gotta have confidence, not overly confident, because there's many proverbs and many teachings about being overly confident. But you gotta be confident in yourself in a way where, okay, I'm able to do this. I'm certainly able to do this. But you humble yourself for the Most High. You humble yourself for your teachers. You humble yourself for your parents. You humble yourself for your elders that's in your community. You say, okay, it's okay to get advice. It's okay to branch out to my brother or my sister and say, am I going about this right? Am I doing this thing right? That's how you got to go about it. You have confidence, but you also got to be cautious. It's okay to be cautious. It's okay to have fear. These are normal emotions. We can't just suppress our emotions. And say, "Oh yeah, I'm a man. I'm never afraid. I'm never afraid of anything." It's okay to have a little fear, but you can't let these emotions control you. You can't let anger control you. You can't let sadness control you. You can't let any of these things control you because these are all things that are minute. These are all things that we can conquer. The Most High gives us all the tools to conquer everything that's before us. If He didn't, what would be the purpose? It's like no free will. It's like, what's the purpose of saying we're sinners or we can be righteous if we don't have no control over these things? So we obviously have control over these things. We obviously have a way where we can control these emotions. We control these thoughts. We can control these patterns. We control all these things in our lives. And that's how we must go about it. Straight. That which is wanting cannot be numbered. So just like at the end of the day, I always tell people, you could tell a person repeatedly over and over to do this thing, like, bro, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. But after a while, you gotta be like, okay, there's nothing I can do. You're only gonna do stuff that you wanna do. People are only gonna do stuff that they wanna do. They might do things that they don't wanna do, but ultimately they're only gonna do things they wanna do. They say, oh, I don't have time for that. They don't wanna do it. People make time for things that they wanna do. Now, like many wants and many desires and whatnot, like you got to make time for the things that are really important, and you can really tell what things are important by how much time a person puts into it. I remember I told one of my friends they was like, man, I don't really have no hobbies like that. I just be bored. I just go to class, I go to work, and I be bored. I said, once you start reading, once you start like reading books and like gaining information and stuff like that, he said, oh yeah, I don't have time for that. You hobbies, how you don't have no time for that. You really would make time for that. Like you can get on the game and game for a couple hours, but you can't read a book. I'm not saying you got to read it all throughout the day, but if you really want something, you'll make time for it. Just like brothers, you got a girl that come into your life. You kind of got a sister. Ooh, like ooh, sister. Okay, I'm about to come to the sister. I'm about to ask her does she want to get out, go and get some coffee. Coffee, she want a little coffee date. You want whatever. You ask your sister, and she be like, yeah, I'm free Wednesdays, Thursdays, Sundays. And you might be like, dang, I work Wednesday, I work Thursday, Sunday. I'm coming off a double. But if you really want that sister, you gonna make that time. If you really want that sister.